In this video, I will demonstrate the proper procedure for initially filling the Quest Elite water bath or on an installed unit, topping off the water bath as part of an annual maintenance procedure. The first thing you want to do when filling the water bath is to open the cabinet and make sure that no concentrate is installed inside. You do not want concentrate to get pumped into the water bath in the base of the unit. The next procedure would be to remove the drip tray and the cup rest and set aside. And then with a screwdriver, remove the two retaining screws in the lower left-hand corner and the lower right-hand corner. And then remove the stainless steel front splash panel. Behind the splash panel, two things I want to point out. One is the overflow tube. When the water bath gets filled all the way to the top, whether it's the initial fill or the topping off at an annual maintenance, water will dribble out this tube and dribble into the water into the drip tray. So what we want to do at this point is we want to put the drip tray back in and have that sitting in place, and we want to make sure that there's no concentrate left over in the bottle adapter from prior use. So I suggest just push the button, make sure you got a good flow of plain water coming out. You can do for both sides. Make sure everything's flushed out. Set that aside. Now the next thing you want to do is to remove this piece of flexible tubing from its retainer bracket. And in the end of the tube, you'll see there's just a simple plastic cap that comes off. It isn't clamped in place or anything. It's just there to cap off the end of the tube. And you can put this on either side, the left or the right side. If this happened to be a 4-flavor unit, you could do any one of the 4 flavors. For this video, I'm just going to demonstrate by sliding it over the tip of the nozzle on the left-hand side. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to push the dispense switch and keep dispensing, and water is going to come out and go into the bottom of the bath, where it's going to come in the bottom and fill up. And when it gets to the top, it's going to trickle out the overflow tube into the drip tray. Now this happens to be an existing unit that's been installed and is in use, so it's not going to take long to top it off here. If this was an initial install, it could take quite a few minutes to get enough water in there to fill up that whole bath. So what I'm going to do now is push this dispense switch. You can see water is pumping through the tube into the bottom of the bath. And pretty shortly here, you're going to see water start to trickle out. As soon as you see water trickling out, you want to stop. And let's see here pretty shortly. And there, I can see some water starting to trickle out, so I'm going to stop at this point. Now, what you're going to see is on an initial install, that water will continue to dribble out of there. As the unit makes an ice bank in that water bath, the ice takes up more volume in the bath than water does, so some water is going to get pushed out the overflow tube into the drain tray, and that could happen for a half hour to 45 minutes after the initial fill. But in this case here, I just initially filled it up and topped off the water bath, so I don't have to deal with that. So now what you do is you take the tube back off, you put the red cap back in the end, just press it in there firmly, and then properly place the tube back in the retaining bracket, making sure to make a nice big loop. Get it in place, and at that point there, you can now put the splash panel back on with the 2 retaining screws, the cup rest, and drip tray can get installed.